Hi everyone, here we are talking about another metric which can be used for faster calculation. Let's talk about the number which ends with 5. So suppose if we have to take a square, how we can do that in our mind without using a calculator. So suppose if I have 35 and I want to square it, then in that case what I have to do is write 25 in the end and then take 3, which is the first digit, and multiply it with its increment. So 3 plus 1 is 4 and 4 into 3 is 12. So the answer is 1225. So another example, if I have 65 square, in that case I have to write 25 and then I'll take 6. So multiply 6 by 6 plus 1, that will be equal to 7. 7 into 6 is 42. So the answer is 4225. So how this trick works, so let's look into that. So suppose we have any number which ends with 5, so that number can be written as 10 into x plus 5. So here suppose if x is equal to 3, then this number will be equal to 35, right? So suppose if we have 10x plus 5 and we want to do a square of it, if we do a square of it, that will be equal to 100 x square plus 100x plus 25. So if we solve this, that will be equal to 100 into x plus 1 plus 25. So as you can see that we are taking the first digit and we adding a number into it, multiplying it by 100 and then adding a 25. So here if we have x is equal to 3, so if x is equal to 3, then we'll get 3 into 4 into 100 plus 25. So that will give me again 1200 plus 25. So we'll get 1225. So this is how this trick works. So basically we are adding the first digit by 1, multiplying it with the first digit, putting it the 100, multiplying by 100 and then adding 25 in the end. So another example, if I have 85 square and I want to multiply, I want to do a square, so that will be equal to 25 and we'll do 8 into 9, that's equal to 72. So answer is 7225. So this is how this trick works. I hope this helped. I'll see you in the next trick. Here we are dividing a number by 5. So suppose if I have 32 and I want to divide it by 5. So if you look at it, it looks little complicated, but an easy way to do this is doing this: 32 into 2 divided by 10. So that will be equal to 64 and then a decimal, so it's 6.4. So all you have to do is take a double of numerator and then put a decimal there. So another example is suppose if I have 16, I want to divide by 5. So the answer is 2 times 16 is 32 and then put a decimal here. So that's your answer. Again, if I have 104, I want to divide by 5. So what would be the answer? 2 times 104 is 208, then a decimal here. That's your answer. Again, if I have to divide by 25, so suppose if I have 16 and want to divide by 25, so how will I go about this? In that case, I can write it as 16 into 10 into 2 into 2 divided by 100, right? So here what's double of 16 is 32, and then 32 double is 64, so the answer is 0.64. Again, if I have 4 divided by 25. So that will be equal to 4 into double of 4 is 8 and double of 8 is 16.16. Again, another example is if I have 44 to divide by 25. So 44 into 4, that's what we have to do. So 44 into 2 is 88, and 88 into 2, that will be equal to 176. So answer will be equal to 1.76. Another example will be to divide by 125. So if I have 4 and I want to divide by 125, so how will I do that? In that case, that will be equal to 4 into 2 into 2 into 2 divided by 1000. So 4 into 8 is 32. So we have 32 and we put a 0 here. So that's our answer. Again, if I have 20 and want to divide by 125, so 2 into 8 is 16. So add 16 here, and then I have one more 0 here, but then I can do this. So this will be my answer. I hope this trick helped, and I'll see you in the next edition. For example, suppose if I have to multiply 48 and 52, so how will I do that? So if you look at it carefully, this number are symmetrical around 50. So this can be written as 50 minus 2 square into, no, not square, 50 minus 2 and 50 plus 2. So that will be equal to 50 square minus 2 square. So the answer will be equal to 2496. Right? Same way, suppose if I have to do 79 into 81, so the answer will be equal to 80 square minus 1 square. So this will be equal to 6399. Suppose if we have to do it against like suppose 15 into 17, so in that case it will be equal to 16 square minus 1 square. That's equal to 255. Another example is 95 into 105. Here it will be equal to 100 square minus 5 square. So that gives me 9975. So this is how you can use this trick for faster calculation, which for the numbers which seems difficult in the beginning, but if you remember this trick, this can be done very quickly. Okay, I'll see you in the next trick. Hi everyone, in this video we'll talk about another math trick which can be used for faster calculation. For example, if we have to multiply 64 and 5, so another way to write this same number is by 64 into 10 by 2, and a lot of time we cannot think of that for the calculation. So in that case it is very easy. Half of 64 is 32, so the answer is 32 and a 0, so it's 320. Again, if I have to multiply 78 by 5, so the answer will be equal to half of 78, which is 39, and then a 0, so that's 390. Again, if I have 128 and want to multiply by 5, that will be equal to 64 and a 0, and that's your answer. Another trick is to multiply by 25. So if I have to multiply 64 by 25, then we can write this as 64 into 10 by 2 into 10 by 2. So we have to take half of 64 two times. So in that case, half of 64 is 32, half of 32 is 16. The answer is 16. 0 0. Again, if I have 128, I want to multiply by 25. In that case, it will be equal to half of 128 64, and half of 64 is 32. It's 32 0 0. Again, let's go to one more trick. If we have to multiply by 125, so how do I multiply by 125? So I'll take example. So 128, I want to multiply by 125, then that can be written as 128 into 10 by 2 into 10 by 2 into 10 by 2. So we have to divide 28 by 2 three times, or we can divide it by 8. So if we divide 128 by 2, that is 64, and half of 64 is 32, and half 32 is 16. So the answer will be equal to 1600 and one more 0. This trick may not be very convenient a lot of times, because dividing something by 8 is not very easy sometimes, but it could be handy at certain times. Now let's do another thing. If we have to multiply 120 by 15, so how will I do that? In that case, what I'll do is I'll take half of 20. Half of 20 is 60, and then I'll add that into 120. So this is equal to 120 by 2. Okay. So here that will be equal to 180. Then I put one more 0. Then so that's my answer. So again, if I have 180 to multiply by 15, that will be equal to half of 80 is 90 plus 180. So 18 and 9, that's equal to 27. There are 2 zeros in the end. So that's our answer. So I hope this trick helped, and I'll see you in the next trick. So first we will start with the number which are close to 50, and if you want to take a square of that numbers. So for example, if we have 48 square, so how will we calculate this number? So if you look at 48, it is close to 50, so it is 50 minus 2 square, right? So in this case, what we'll do is we'll subtract 2 from 25, and then we'll do 2 square. So the answer will be equal to 2304. Another way, another example is like 46 square. In this case, we'll subtract 4 from 25 and do 4 square. So the answer will be equal to 2104 or 2116. Let's take another example. If I have 53 square, then in this case it will be 25 plus 3 and then 3 square. So the answer will be equal to 2809. How this trick works, so let's look on the left side. So if we have something close to 50, it can be written as 50 plus x square, and 50 plus x square can be written as 2500 plus 100x plus x square, or that will be equal to 25 plus x into 100 plus x square. So now as you can see that if x is equal to 3, then what I'm doing is I'm adding 25 plus 3, right, and then I'm adding 3 square. So the answer is equal to 2809. So this is how this trick works. It's based on a plus b whole square. I hope this trick helps. I'll see you in the next trick. So if we want to subtract any number from 1000, how we can do that very quickly in our mind without using a calculator. So suppose if I have 1000 and I want to subtract 231 from it. So how will I do that? So in that case, what I'll do is, first I'll take the first number and I subtract it from 10. So 10 minus 1 is 9. Then I'll take the second number and I subtract it from 9. That will be 6. And then I'll take the third number and I also subtract it from 9, equal to 7. So my answer will be equal to 769. Again, if I have 1000 minus 646, in that case I'll take the 6. 10 minus 6 is 4. Then I'll take the 4. So 9 minus 4 is equal to 5, and then I take the 6. So 9 minus 6 is equal to 3. So the answer is 354. So this method can be very helpful if we are in the exam or day-to-day calculation. So same thing can be done for larger numbers. So suppose if I have 1, 2, 3 and 4 and want to subtract 2, 3, 3, 1 from it. So in that case, what I'll do is, first I take the 1. So 10 minus 1 is equal to 9, and I take the 3. So 3, so that will be 9 minus 3 is equal to 6. Then I'll take the next 3. So 9 minus 3 is equal to 6, and then I'll take the 2. So 9 minus 2 is equal to 7. So answer will be equal to 7669. So we can do the same thing for much larger numbers, but here is the approach, and I hope this trick helped. I'll see you in the next trick. Thank you. So suppose if we have a large number and we want to find out whether this number will be evenly distributed by either 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9 or 11. So how will we find it that? So let me begin with the example. So suppose if I have number 1, 2, 4, 5, 6 and 2, and want to find out whether this number is divisible by 2. So let's say 2. So for this test, it is very easy. So if we have last digit, so we have to look at the last digit, and if it's even, then yes, and if it's odd, then we'll say no. So here we can see that the last digit is 2, so it should be divisible by 2 because it's a even number in the end. Now let's talk about division by 3. So if I have 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 2 again, and I'm looking whether it's divisible by 3 or not. So in that case, what I'll do is I'll add all these numbers together. So I'll say 1 plus 2 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 2. So that will give me 3 plus 4, 7, 7 plus 11, 18 plus 2, 20. So as you can see, 20 is not divisible by 3. So it is not a divisible of 3. So the 20 is not of 3. So that's why this number will not be evenly divided by 3. So it cannot be evenly divided by 3. So what should be the number if it has to be divided by 3? So what would have happened is that instead of 2, if you make it 3, so 1 2 4 5 6, and we write 3 in the end, then in that case this sum will become 21. So that number should be divisible by 3. Or we can increase any other number. We can say 2 2 4 5 6 2. That should also be divisible by 3. Or we can say 2 and increase 1 in each of these 3 and say 3 5 6 6 2. This should also be divisible by 3. So what I'm doing is I'm making a modification by just changing the number enough so that the sum will remain the divisible by 3 will be divisible by 3. So in that case the whole number should be divisible by 3. So that's how this trick works. Now let's talk about 4. So if I have 1 2 3 4, sorry, the number was 1 2 4 5 6 2, and whether it is divisible by 4 or not. So in that case what I have to do, I have to look at the last 2 digit. So R is the last 2 digit are evenly divided by 4. So 62, if we try to divide 62 by 4, then that will be something, I'll get 1, and then I have 22 left. So that is not evenly divided by 4. So this number is not cannot be evenly divided by 4. So how can I modify this number? If I add 2 more in the end, so I'll make 1 2 4 5 6 and make 4 here, then this number should be evenly divided by 4. And I can modify this number anyway. I can write 4 3 2 1 6 4, then again it is divisible by 4. Or I can write anything, x x x x and 64, then this number should also be divisible by 4. So I have to look for the last 2 digit to check if the number is divisible by 4 or not. In this case it is not. Now let's write the number again. So 1 2 4 5 6 2. Is this number divisible by 5? No, because for 5 it to be divisible by 5, the last digit should be either 5 or 0. So if it's not, in this case it's not, so it is not divisible by 5. So if I would have 1 2 4 5 6 5, then it would be, or if I would have 1 2 4 5 6 0, then it would be, but not in this case. So we know this now. Now let's talk about divisibility by 6. So I have 1 2 4 5 6 2. So is this number divisible by 6? So to check that, we know that 6 is a multiplication of 2 and 3. So we have to run the test for 2, and then we have to run the test for 3. Because this is an even number, we know that it is divisible by 2. So this is okay. But we did the test before and we find out that the sum, if I go back here, the sum was 20. So if I add all these numbers together, the sum was 20. So 1 plus 2 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 2 was 20, and 20 is not a divisible of 3. So this is not a divisible of 3. So that's why this number should not be evenly divided by 6. But how can we modify this? We can modify this by adding one more number. So if I add one more number here, then it will become 1 2 4 5 6 3. But now this number would be like this. So it will be 2 into 3. It is divisible by 3 but not by 2. So still If we talk about 6, it will not be divisible by 6. Another modification we can make is add another 3 here. So if I add 1 2 4 5 6 6, then this is both even, and the sum will be still divisible by 3. So we'll have 2 into 3, it passes the test both for 2 and 3, so therefore it should be divisible by 6. So that's how we do the test for divisibility by 6. Now let's go for 8. So now we have 1 2 4 5 6 2, and we want to find out whether this number is divisible by 8. So in that case, we'll take the last 3 digits and see if 562 is divisible by 8. So if we divide it by 8, then this will give me so from this I can see that 7 and then something which is not divisible by 8. So this number is not divisible by 8, so this whole number should not be divisible by 8. How can I make it divisible by 8? By making these 3 digits divisible by 8. So if I have 5 6 8, that can be divided by 8, so we'll get 71. So therefore if I change this number to 1 2 4 5 6 8, then this number would be divisible by 8. Then in that case it will work. Now let's talk about the divisibility by 11. So if I have 1 2 4 5 6 2, and I want to find out whether this number is divisible by 11, so what I'll do is I'll take the alternative number. So 1, this number, and this number. So I'll take this and this, and then I'll take this number, and this number, and I add them together. So I'll say 1 plus 4 plus 6, that's 11, and then 2 plus 5 plus 2, that's 9. So if I subtract 11 from 9, that gives me 2, and 2 is not a divisible of 11, so this number should not be divisible of 11. So I hope this tricks will help you with your exams or day-to-day calculation, and I'll see you in the next trick. Thanks. So suppose if we have a large number 2 3 1 4, and we want to divide it by 9, and we want to know that what would be the remainder after we divide it by 9. So how will we find the remainder? So in that case what we will do is we'll add all these 4 digits together. So 2 plus 3 plus 1 plus 4, that will give me 5 plus 1 6 plus 4 10. So if you look at 10 is, if you divide 10 by 9, you will get 1 as a remainder, so your remainder would be 1 in that case. Another example is 2 1 6 4 3 2 1. So that you can see it's a very large number, and what will happen if you divide it by 9? So in that case 2 plus 1 plus 6 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1. So 2 plus 1 is 3, 3 plus 10 is 13, 13 plus 6 is 19. So we have 19 divided by 9. So what we'll get here is 9. If you divide 19 by 9, I'll get a remainder of 1. So again, if you divide this number by 9, your remainder will be 1. Another thing you can also do is add 9 plus 1, that will give you 10, and then add 1 plus 0, that will give you 1. So your remainder will be 1. Another example, if we have a now much easier example, if I have 73 and I want to divide by 9, So we know that 7 plus 3 is equal to 10, and if I divide it by 9, my remainder will be equal to 1. Again, if I have 67 and I want to divide by 9, in that case 6 plus 7 is equal to 13, and again 1 plus 3 is equal to 4, so the remainder is 4. Another way is look at the divided 13 by 9. In that case you will also get 4, so your remainder, if you divide by 67 by 9, the remainder should be 4. So I hope this trick will help, and I'll see you in the next trick. Thank you. Let's talk about the number which ends with 5. So suppose if we have to take a square, how we can do that in our mind without using a calculator. So suppose if I have 35 and I want to square it, then in that case what I have to do is write 25 in the end, and then take 3, which is the first digit, and multiply it with its increment. So 3 plus 1 is 4, and 4 into 3 is 12, so the answer is 1225. So another example, if I have 65 square, in that case I have to write 25, and then I'll take 6, so multiply 6 by 6 plus 1, that will be equal to 7. 7 into 6 is 42, so the answer is 4225. So how this trick works, so let's look into that. So suppose we have any number which ends with 5, so that number can be written as 10 into x plus 5. So here suppose if x is equal to 3, then this number will be equal to 35, right? So suppose if we have 10x plus 5 and we want to do a square of it, if we do a square of it, that will be equal to 100 x square plus 100x plus 25. So if we solve this, that will be equal to 100 into x plus 1 plus 25. So as you can see that we are taking the first digit and we adding a number into it, multiplying it by 100, and then adding a 25. So here if we have x is equal to 3, so if x is equal to 3, then we'll get 3 into 4 into 100 plus 25. So that will give me again 1200 plus 25. So we'll get 1225. So this is how this trick works. So basically we are adding the first digit by 1, multiplying it with the first digit, putting it the 100, multiplying by 100, and then adding 25 in the end. So another example, if I have 85 square and I want to multiply, I want to do a square, so that will be equal to 25, and we'll do 8 into 9, that's equal to 72. So answer is 7225. So this is how this trick works. I hope this helped. I'll see you in the next trick. Thanks. Here we are talking about adding number in series. So suppose if I have a number from 1 to 9, so 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8 and 9, and we want to add all these numbers together. So I'll show you what's the approach is and how we develop a formula from that, and that can be applied everywhere to add number in series. So if we look here carefully, so what we'll get is that we can add this 1 into the 9 here, so we'll get a 10. Then we can add this number 2 into 8 here, so we'll get another 10. Then we can add 3 into 7 here, so we'll get another 10. Then we can add 4 into 6 here, so we get one more 10, and then we are left with a 5. which is half of a 10, so it's a half of a 10, right? So 10 divided by 2, you can say. So total we have a 4.5 into 10, so we have 4 tens and half of a 10, so that's 4.5 into 10. So again, if we look here, that will be equal to 9 divided by 2 into 10. So what's a 9 here? 9 here is the last digit, so we can write it. So suppose if I have to add 1 plus 2 until x, we can write this as x into x plus 1, which is 10 divided by 2. So we can use this formula for any kind of sequences. Suppose now if we have to add 1 plus 2 until 99, so the answer will be equal to 99 into 100 divided by 2. If I have to do the same thing for until 100, then I can do the same. So now suppose instead of 1, if the number starts from somewhere else, suppose if it starts from 11 and it goes until 19, so how will I do that? In that case, I'll first add 1 to 19 and then I'll subtract 1 to 10 from it. So how will I do that? So 1 to 19 will be equal to 19 into 20 divided by 2, and 1 to 10 will be equal to 10 into 11 divided by 2. So if I subtract both, so that will be equal to 19 into 20 divided by 2 minus 10 into 11 divided by 2. So that's how I can do the addition in sequence which do not start from 1. So for a general formula, that will be equal to, suppose if I have x and it goes until y and I'm adding, so it goes like this. So in that case, I can write this as y into y plus 1 divided by 2 minus, so here we have to be careful because this is x, so this will be equal to x into x minus 1, because we are adding until x minus 1 divided by 2. So that will be our answer if we have to add number in series. So I hope this trick works, will help you, and I'll see you in the next trick. Thanks. We'll multiply large numbers by 11, 12 or even 13 without using a calculator in the mind. So let me begin with the example. So suppose if I have 1, 2 and 3 and I want to multiply by 11. So how will I do this? So in that case, what I'll do is first I'll just take the last terms, so I'll say 1 and then I'll say 3 here, and then I'll add 1 and 2 together. So if I add 1 and 2 together, that will be equal to 3, and then I'll add 2 and 3 together, that will be equal to 5. So my answer will be equal to 1353. Again, how did I do this? So my first digit is same as the first digit we have here. My second digit will be equal to 1 plus 2, which is first digit plus second digit. My third digit will be equal to second digit plus third digit, and the last will be equal to the last digit plus 0, because we have nothing else left. So that will be equal to 1, 3, 5, 3. So that's my answer, 1353. Again, how will I do the same for 12? So if I have 1, 2, 3 and I want to multiply by 12, so here what will I do is I'll first take the first digit. So first digit we have 1, so I'll just write a 1 here. Then we have another digit, so for this, to calculate the second digit of our answer, we'll take the first digit and multiply by 2 and then add 2 into it. So what I did here is I multiplied this by 2 and then I added 2 into it. So that will give me 2 into 1 is 2 plus 2 4. Then I'll, for calculating the third digit of the answer, I'll do 2 into 2 plus 3, that will be equal to 7. So I multiply this by 2 and then I add it into the 3, so that will be equal to 7. And then for the last digit I'll take multiply the last digit by 2. So if I multiply this by 2, so 3 into 2 plus 0, so that will be equal to 6. So the answer will be equal to 1476. So basically I am multiplying each digit by 2 and then I'm adding the next digit into it. So let's go to another example and multiply by 13. So if I have 1 2 3 and I want to multiply by 13, in this case I'll do the same way. First digit will be equal to first digit, the second will be 1 into 3 plus 2, and third will be equal to 2 into 3 plus 3, and then on we have 3 into 3 plus 0. So if you look here, I multiplied all the numbers by 3. Here I multiplied all the numbers by 2, and here I did not do any multiplication because it was 1. So if I add these numbers, it will be 5, 9 and 9. So the answer will be equal to 1599. So that's how I'll multiply any number by 11, 12 or 13. So let's do another example. If I have 1 2 3 1, so I have to multiply by 11, so the first digit will be equal to 1, second will be equal to 1 plus 2, third will be equal to 2 plus 3, and fourth will be equal to 3 plus 1, and then we are left with the fifth, which is equal to 1. So the answer will be equal to 1 3 5 4 1. So answer is 1 3 5 4 1. Again, if I have 1 2 3 1 and I want to multiply by 12, here we have 1, then we have 1 into 2 plus 2, that's, then we have 2 into 2 plus 3, 3 into 2 plus 1, and 1 into 2. So that will give me 4. This will give me 7 7 2. So answer is 14772. Again, if I have to multiply by 1 by 13, then the answer will be equal to 1 into 3 plus 2, 2 into 3 plus 3, 3 into 3 plus 1, and 1 into 3. So that will give me 3 plus 2 is equal to 5. 3 into 2 is 6 plus 3 9, and if you look here, it will be 3 into 3 is 9 plus 1 10. So here we have 10 and here we'll have 3. So in this case we have to be careful because there is a carryover, so we have to write 3, then here we'll write 0 because we have 10 here, so 1 will go to the 9. So 9 plus 1 is 10 again, so we'll have one more 0, it will go to the 5, so it will be 6, and then it's 1. So answer is 16003. So that will be our answer. So I hope this trick will be helpful, and I'll see you in the next trick. Thanks. We'll have another metric which can be used for faster calculation. Here we are talking about multiplying two numbers which are less than 20. For example, if I have to multiply 12 and 13, in this case what I'll do is, first I'll say 2 plus 3, which is 5, and then I'll multiply 2 and 3, which is 6. The answer will be equal to 156. Again, if I have 13 and want to multiply by 12, no sorry, by 15, then in that case it will be equal to 3 plus 5, that is 8. So we'll write a 8 here, and 3 into 5, which is 15. So I have 5, 1 and 1, so that will give me 195. Again, if I have 11 and I want to multiply by 14, then that will be equal to 1 plus 4, it's 5, and 1 into 4, that's equal to 4. Answer is 154. So how this trick works, so let's take an look into it. So if we have 10 plus x and then 10 plus y, so we are taking 10 as a base, and these numbers are close to 10. So in that case, if we solve this, it will be equal to 100 plus x plus y plus, so it will be 10 here, and then we have xy. So if we solve this, it will be equal to 10 plus xy plus y plus xy. So if x is equal to 2 and y is equal to 3, you can see it will be equal to 10 into 0 plus 5 plus 2 into 3. So that will give me 15 and then 6. So it will go to the 10th place. That's how this trick works. However, sometimes it's very handy when we are doing faster calculation. So I'll see you in the next trick. Thanks. Here we are talking about multiplication by 6. So let's take an example. Suppose if I have 14 and I want to multiply it by 6. So how will I do this? First I'll take the last digit of the number to which we want to multiply by 6. So it's the last digit here is 4, so I'll just write a 4 here, and then what I'll do is I'll take half of this number. So half of this number is 7, and then I'll take this first digit and I add it to the 7, so that will be equal to 8. So my answer will be 84. Another example, if I have 4 and I want to multiply by 6, so in that case the last digit is 4, so I'll write 4 here, and then half of 4 is equal to 2. So, and because it's a 0 here, so if I add 0, it will still remain 2. The answer will be equal to 24. Let's do something more difficult. If I have to multiply 72 by 6, in that case the last digit is 2, so we'll write a 2 here, and then half of 72, so 72 divided by 2 is equal to 36, and then we'll add the first digit, so 36 plus 7 is equal to 43, so the answer will be 432. Again, another example, if I have 64, I want to multiply by 6, in that case I'll take the last digit, which is 4, and then 64 divided by 2 is equal to 32, and then I'll add 6 into it, that will give me 38. The answer is 384. So how did I get this trick? I just look at the table of 6, and I look into the patterns, and this is what I get. And this is only valid for even numbers. You cannot apply this trick for odd numbers. It's only valid for even numbers, but still this trick could be handy for some of the calculations you will have in the exams or your day-to-day life. So I hope this trick works. I'll see you in next trick. Thanks. Today we'll talk about how to square any 3-digit number without using a calculator. So let me begin with the example. So suppose if I have 206 and I want to square this number. So how will I do that? So in that case, first I'll look at the first digit, and I will take a square of digit. So the square of 2 is 4. So 2 square is 4. Then I'll take the last digit and I'll take a square of that digit. So square of 6 is 36, right? And now to get the middle numbers, what I'll do is I'll multiply 2 and 6, this 2 and 6, and then I'll multiply again with 2, and that will be 6 into 4, 24. So that will be the answer. Let me take another example. So suppose if I have 409 and I want to do a square. In that case, 4 square is equal to 16, 9 square is equal to 81, and 4 into 9 into 2. So 9 into 8, that is 72. So the answer is 167281. So that's our answer. Now if we have something which is more bigger, or I will give you example of a carryover. So now suppose if I have 825 and I want to do a square of this number. So this will be a little different. So here the approach will be same. So 8 square. So 8 square is 64, and then 25 square. 25 square is 625, right? So we'll write 25, and then we have to write a 6 here, because we can only use the 2 digits in the end. Now if we multiply 8, 25 and 2, that will be 400. So we can only write 2 zeros here, and I have to write a 4 here. Why? Because we can only take the 2 digits. So now if we add them together, then it will be 6, and 4 plus 4 is 8, 0, 6 plus 0 is 6, and 25. So that will be my answer. So if you practice, then you can always do this calculation without even writing it on the paper. Now how this trick works, so let's look into it. So any 3-digit number can be written as in the following form: 100 x plus y. So if x is equal to 3 and y is equal to 6, then it will be 306, right? Now if I need to square this number, so in that case it will be equal to 10,000 x square plus 200 xy plus y square. Now you can see that we have 4 zeros for x square, 2 zeros for 2xy, and no zeros for y square. So if we add them together, so it will look something like that: x square 0 0 0 0, right? And then we have 2xy 0 0. So this 2xy will go onto the next two digits here, right? And then we have y square, which will go here. So because there is a 0 here, so the y square can occupy this two digits in the end. So again, if I have x is equal to 9 and y is equal to 11, then you can see that uh, 9 square is 81. So there is no limit for x square here, right? And then we have 2xy, so 2 into 9 into 11, so that will be equal to 18 into 11, and that will be equal to 198. So we'll have 198, and then we have y square, so 11 square is 121, so 21 and 1 here, right? So in that case the answer would be equal to 899921. So that's your answer. So I hope this video helps, and I'll see you in the next metric. Thank you.
Hi everyone, in this tutorial I will show you how to multiply any number with 5, 25, 125 or 15 very quickly in your mind without using a calculator. So this approach is very handy when you go to a market or you are in exam and you want to do calculations very quickly, and if you practice you can remember all this calculations or all these concepts in your mind. So let's do the first multiply by 5. So in case of 5, suppose I have a number 22 and I want to multiply it by 5. So all I have to do is divide 22 by 2, that will be 11, and then put a 0 in the end. So that will be my answer. Again, let's say I have 86 and I want to multiply it by 5. So all I will do is 86 divided by 2, so that is equal to 43, and then put 0 in the end, so that will be 430. So this is the concept. The concept is very easy. So 5 is equal to 10 divided by 2. So in a way, if I multiply 86 by 5, that is equal to 86 into 10 divided by 2. So that will be equal to 43 into 10 is equal to 430. So as you can see, this is nothing new, and most of people already know this, but we don't remember this concepts when we are doing some calculations in the exam or in the market. So it's very handy if you remember this kind of concepts. Now let's go to 25. If I have to multiply any number by 25, so we know that 25 is equal to 5 into 5. So instead of dividing by 2, we will divide by 4. So now suppose I have 88 and I want to multiply it by 25. So in this case I will divide 88 by 4. So divide by 4. So that will be equal to 22, and then I put 20 in the end. So that is my answer. Again, if I have to multiply 64 by 25, so that will be equal to 16, because 64 divided by 4 is equal to 16. So we have 1600 as answer. So now let's say I have to multiply any number by 125. So we know that 125 is 5 into 5 into 5. So instead of dividing by 4, we can divide by 5, divide by 8. So now let's take example, like if I have 80. So I'm using 80 because it's easier to divide by 8. So if I multiply it by 125, so that will be equal to 80 divided by 8 is 10, and then 30 in the end, 1 2 3. So that is my answer. So again, let's take another example. If I have 64, so as we know that 8 into 8 is 64. So in this case, if I multiply by 125, that will be equal to 8 because we divided 64 by 8 and then put 30 in the end, so it will be 8000. And let's take another example, 128 by 125. So in this case we know that 128 divided by 8 is 16, and then we put 30 in the end, so that is our answer. So now let's go to multiplication by 15. So in case of 15, this is a little different. So we have, suppose we have 64 and want to multiply it by 15. So in this case what I will do is I will take 64 and then I will add 64 divided by 2 to it and then multiply by 10. So that will be equal to 64 plus 32 into 10, and that's equal to 960, right? So let's do it quickly. Suppose if I have 44 and want to multiply by 15, so I know that 44 half of 44 is 22, so that will be equal to 66 and then a 0, so that will be 660. Suppose if I want to multiply 22 by 15, so that will be equal to 330. And if you want to multiply 66 by 15, that will be equal to 99 and 0. So as you can see, I'm using a simple numbers, but you can always go to complicated numbers and do same kind of